I don't. This man will be presentation and the first one is going to describe. This is the first one.
Some minutes of technical details, and we will look at the presentation.
Oh, yes.
Very good. Where
Yes.
introduce Advanced.
In here.
You're welcome. Yeah.
You're welcome. You're welcome. We hear you.
So I'm on. Okay. Can you hear my sound also?
Yes,
We
we hear you.
make any sign.
Надо сказать ему, что микрофон слышит.
Now, sound.
Yeah, you are audible. Please go.
You can begin.
Good. Thank you. So thank you really first of all for inviting me here, and congratulations for this so much forward-going event and the approach on such an important topic, which is the future education, the future of the humanity's development and transformation. My name is Advaitananda Mihai. I'm the Director of Developing Programs for the Institute for Quantum Transformation, Denmark. I'm represented here in front of you, representing a vast network of scientific researchers and spiritual practitioners, people driven mainly by the aspiration for betterment of the human being and of the society. This is also the subject of our work for many decades. In this presentation, I will show a little bit of the results of more than 4 decades of work done by this international network to a work that is oriented to synthesize the core values and the mechanisms that are revealed in the ancient traditions as well as within the modern scientific framework. The central focus of our work was the human being, generally speaking, and its most important characteristic, which is the consciousness itself. We started from the work of one person, actually, who practically generated almost like a snowball effect, putting some very important problems and raising some important questions, offering some approach that represented for many of us who were in the proximity at the time a genuine revolutionary flip of perspective. This work, I have to tell you, started beyond, if we can call it like that, Iron Curtain during the 70s. It started in countries like Romania, which were deep, we can say, under the so-called Iron Curtain at the time. And this detail maybe is not important, but it shaped in a certain way this work because it needs to be proven. In our times, we need to prove every step that was done, and we need to practically validate all the findings. I will present here just one side of this multifaceted activity of our network, which is the universal language based on the universal godly laws and principles. We started from the observation that all genuine and spiritual traditions of our world present, when you strip these traditions of some cultural specifications, they all present similar or even identical laws and principles that are at the root of their system. Moreover, synthesizing these common laws and principles, we could recognize them as supporting also the scientific system as well at its very core. Because in this work they were involved lots of scientists as well, but scientists which were involved also in their personal spiritual practice. We've developed in this way some methods to validate by direct experimentation many of these laws and principles. And in this way it became possible to deepen this study through direct experimentation and even through some quite amazing results validating this approach, such as, for instance, expanding the capacity to use the entire brain capacity of a human being way beyond the measures that were done before, and or to be able to realize certain performances that were sometimes considered in old texts as being paranormal, which we actually studied with the scientific methods and proved to be just within another form of normality. Over the last 40 years, facing sometimes adversities, I have to say, from the societies where our members were activating, because it's not so easy to come with such transformation of paradigm with such results that sometimes put medicine in a very difficult spot to explain the results, or sometimes put even other branches of science in a difficult spot. But still, the result of this work became an enormous platform, among other things, of understanding, a platform that is formed today by the explanation, the revelation of more than 1,300 universal laws and principles. This is the amount that we have put forward. All these can be found, all these principles and laws can be found embedded in all traditions, in all spiritual systems, as well as in modern philosophical systems or in science. We have elaborated courses later on for explaining and practically exploring the human consciousness based on these principles and laws. And that allowed, in its turn, a very harmonious mergence between very different systems of personal development. People practicing various systems, people from different backgrounds and educations, they found themselves united naturally by understanding the principles and laws that are governing their practice and their work and even their job. We could unify in this way, in an extremely simple way, just implementing this platform, even the apparently contradictory systems, as they're always having in reality as a common denominator the human being and its consciousness governed by laws and principles. So in this way we've seen even apparently contradictory systems of thinking and understanding united very simple without even saying a word about unification. And therefore this became a genuine platform of universal understanding of various perspectives and various systems of knowledge structured in a perfectly coherent manner. We've discovered and validated practically the fact that such a platform represents a genuine meta-language, we call it meta-language, that help everyone understand the fundamental perspective of all the others. It helps us also realize what is behind all the appearances, and even sometimes behind the alleged differences that separates us. And for us this represents an extraordinary discovery, because if something characterizes the world today, we can say in a simplistic way, is differences and separations, though we try to speak about unification. So this, it was a big aha moment for us when we realized that this naturally unifies everyone. So the implementation, therefore, of this system of in an education was proven to be the catalyst of a durable state of harmony and coherence across cultures and across various spiritual perspectives. We implement in various communities such a system experimentally, and we notice that immediately the barriers dissolve and they reach out and they start to unify with other, even sometimes apparently conflictual communities. In a certain way, this platform of laws and principles form a language of universal education. And because we transform them into courses, coherent courses, just for the sake of experimentation, we saw their educational universal effect. It makes all humans able to go beyond what is different in order to realize a state of unity without cancelling, and this is another perspective we found interesting, without cancelling any of their specificity. It was truly, in a certain way, a very practical approach on the famous saying, unity in diversity. During the years we've structured this immense body of practical knowledge in these practical courses and methods, and in this form we've implemented in various communities across 35 countries so far. The result was, among others, a very unified, I would say, international community that was not even needing a strong administrative structure as an international community you would think it needs. But yet it keeps its cohesion and effectiveness. The work that is done by all the participants in this open system, we call it an open system because indeed nobody owns it and everybody participates into it, is a very synchronized work from the root of it by the fact that all the participants have brought into the field of their awareness, first and foremost, and integrating also in their life the laws and the principles that governs the entire God of creation and their own life. Practically, what we have experienced is a very high degree of coherence and alignment, everyone's interests, and a synchronous rhythm of work that needed almost no coordination. That was the reason, actually, we realized that it's possible that such a gigantic amount of work, which is the equivalent of many universities' material put together, was possible to be done by various persons in various countries, in various communities, and yet perfectly synchronized. In the beginning, we were not even aware of this effect. And also because it is very subtle and transcends the plane of our daily preoccupations. But while implementing in the beginning such knowledge, which was not fully developed, as it is now it's not fully developed, I dare say it's in the middle of the process, but still, implementing the first steps in various communities, some of them separated by big cultural, historical, or religious differences, we've noticed the formation of a natural networking process between people. It appeared this natural networking because the barriers were dissolved, very much similar to the formation of the nervous system within the human body and the development of the morphogenesis. Those of us who were specialized in this, they even started to study it, and they were stating, look, this is almost like growing an organism. We already have a community that have a morphogenesis, analogically speaking, of course. In a few years it became clear to us that on this platform, all genuine spiritual systems, all life perspectives can find their natural place, which is perfectly integrated with the scientific view and methodology as well. The biggest and immediate benefit was from this thing was the immediate understanding and practical methods to study the human consciousness itself. Many researchers and practitioners connected in this fundamental way became, in this way, a single body of tremendous power, we can say, power of understanding. The result was raising some of the known methods, starting from breathing methods and knowledge about the 5 fundamental categories of vibration, tattwas, and so on, raising these methods to unprecedented level of effectiveness. And we measured in labs different results which were quite shocking in the beginning, and in the end we started to get used to it. This was leading also to the discovery, which many of us considered one of the most important factors, is the discoveries of the existence of characteristics of the godly absolute consciousness, of the consciousness itself. We call them, for this reason, the godly attributes, the characteristics that are fundamental and they are the root of all human fundamental beneficial experiences, such as love, compassion, honesty, heroism, intelligence, wisdom, limitlessness, expansion, transcendence, aspiration, enthusiasm. And the list can continue on and on. All of them we discovered have, beyond them, perfect energies, having the constant frequency of vibration that never modifies. And these elements that we discovered are universal constants, the genuine universal constants that cross the boundaries of the physical universe. They are practically in the whole macrocosm, and constituting this way the frame of functioning of the human consciousness as well. After this discovery, we've developed methods of consciously reconnect and work with over 350 of these fundamental godly attributes of macrocosmic or macrocosmic constants. In this way, we've seen clear results that such approach on researching the human condition and consciousness eliminate from the beginning the apparently conflictual perspectives and create a sustainable cooperation between all the groups of the human community. And I can give you just in the end 2 examples of such interesting effectiveness. For instance, long before multipolarity became a subject of the talk today, in the today's world, in this community, approximately 30 years ago, the whole idea of multipolarity emerged naturally, and it was even developed to very large extents, down to practical ways to the transition phase, how to implement multipolarity in the world. And that was just a spontaneous emergence. Another one, and this is the ending of my presentation, traditional values that we start to become aware today and revalued in countries like Russia, for instance, and other countries, in India. In other places, we have to admit, they are vehemently denied and considered obsolete, but that's another element. But they were long ago studied and validated within this network with the methods of science, using the system of universal laws and principles. And in this way, we have discovered long ago already the fact that these so-called traditional values are in reality expressions of universal laws and principles, accurately described by some ancient societies. So in this way, we proved that they are actually not traditional values but universal values that are valid now as well as in the old times as well as in the future. So this is a very little extent of our work. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you for your presentation. We have very different views on education today through the practice, and we continue our work. We have only one presentation before our coffee break, but we don't know if our participant is here. Irina Vladimirovna Ivanova, energy practice, organizer of the association Light of Truth, the path of humanity's development through love. Irina, are you with us? Are you with us?
Все больше нет, и больше нет. Нет, вот она есть, должна сделать ее.